You get to read for me? I got notes everywhere, guys, so. You want to sit over there? You sitting over there? Hi, guys. I'll try to stall a little bit for people. I'm sure they're still coming. We know one person. Oh, yeah. Okay, I'm glad you're here. Um, we know one person we ran into that said they'll be there in a minute, so I'm going to try to stall a little bit. How y'all doing? Good. Y'all looking good.
So are you.
KT got on my favorite color, orange. We could have coordinated. How was y'all day? It was good. Why was your day awesome, Kobe? Yes, I know that's right. Who else said their day was good? Why was your day good, Betty? Good. Good. My day started off a little like I woke up this morning like feeling like I was getting sick. I was like, oh, heck no. Let's see. Me and Keith's heating blanket, it hooks. You can pick, I can plug my side up. He can plug his side up, but my side broke. So I'm like, honey, we're going to have to flip that thing. We're going to have to go ahead and flip that because I can't be over here freezing, and I can only get so close. And, yeah. So he said, okay, we can flip it. He's so sweet. I'm trying to stall some, guys. Oh, no. My babe ain't going to let me do that. You don't let me sing, honey?
Yeah, go for it.
Or you going to say what you say at home when I sing?
I remember you singing.
Yeah. My granddaughters semi-dressed me today. So this locket, my Jasmine gave me when my dad died. So on the back it says, love you forever, Dad. And I mean, she was only like probably 15 or 16 years old. And she gave me this locket. She kept saying, Grandma, come get your birthday gift. Come get your birthday gift. And I was like, girl, y'all live all the way in South Omaha. I will get it tomorrow. And she was like, no, please, 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 please. So I was like, I drove all the way over there. And then we was both standing outside crying at night. Because she was like, don't cry, Grandma. You're going to make me cry. But, yeah, it's a picture of me and my dad in it. Yeah. And then it says, love you forever, Dad. So, and then Jalea, so I told her, I was like, I got to teach at church. Well, I got to talk. Okay, guys, I'm not, But she's like, what you wearing? So I sent her a picture, and I was like, but I'm trying to find some tennis shoes. She was like, I got you. And when I sent her my outfit, she was like, oh, clock that. Clock that. So she found me some tennis shoes. Ain't they cute? They're so cute, yeah. So, yeah. So I got to send her a picture. I forgot to take a picture earlier. But, see, that's the guy that we passed. So I knew he was coming, so I definitely was waiting for him. He said, I'll see y'all in a few minutes. But I wish I had more kids here. I'm sure they're coming. I'm trying to wait for Brenda because I'm pretty sure Brenda's going to be here. But it was just, when Bishop was talking about that Sunday, it was just crazy. It was like he was just like talking to me. It was like he was telling my entire life story. And I I, I could hardly sit still. Like I was just losing it. I was losing it over there. And when I think about that as me being young, like, the kids, how hurtful and painful it is, and then now being 61, I still have those feelings. I still have those thoughts, I think about that kind of stuff. But now I'm older, I've just learned how to just accept it, deal with it, and move in it. And I've just always been one to never, like, show my expressions on my face, right? I just have always been like, I could be sad, but I can still smile through it. I could be down, but I've just always been able to do that. And it's not because it's not for anybody but me. Like, I don't want to be depressed. I don't want to be down all the time. So I just do that for me, and it's helped me tremendously, to be able to smile through pain. And, because even in that, every day wasn't a horrible day. You can always find something in every day to smile and rejoice and be happy about, But yes, it was just that he was just telling my story. He was telling my testimony. And as I was just kind of looking around, looking at people, I'm like, this is a lot of people's story, and I'm like, do people really want to hear this? Do people really, but then, of course, people was reaching out like, hey, I want to be there, sharing similar stories. And I was like, wow, okay. It really is a real thing. But I'm still kind of trying to stall because I really wanted to wait for Brenda. But I do have a song that I wanted to play. Can you do it on your phone? I don't know if you could do it from up there, KT. Honey, can you give it to him? But I will say that I think that being treated kind of the way I was treated, it kind of shaped me into the mother, into the grandmother, that I am. Because I just never wanted to be that mom. I never wanted my kids to feel like anyone was better than the other one. And I always say, Ray and Ron, I'm like, yeah, those were my twins. I had the most fun with them. And I'm like, but I don't mean I didn't like y'all. I loved all y'all, but but I just had fun with them because it was two of them, But all of them, like, Netta, of course, was our one that wasn't me and Keith's. But me and Keith, y'all done heard me tell this story about Keith so long. Oh, my goodness. I know I done said it a million times. Y'all can recite it with me if you want to, because I know y'all know it. But we was just friends. I met him in 9th grade, and he was just always there for me, of course. So I was pregnant. I had Netta when I was 16, and he just was always my friend. In 9th grade, he used to like me in 9th grade, but I wasn't trying to do all that, but he was just my friend. Like, he would always make sure I had everything I needed, even with Netta not being his child. He was just always like, he would call me because he had a car. He'd been driving since he was 13. He was driving. He was bad too, y'all. Keith was bad. Like, they can't tell him how you drop your mama off at church and act like you was going to park and then you went driving around and ran out of gas. Can I tell that? So anyway, he said he used to do it all the time, and then one day he ran out of gas, and he had to walk back to the church and say, the car's over here. So anyway, but he'd been driving for so long, so he always had a car, but he would always call me like, do you need anything? He would take me to the store. He would take me to go, and we was literally just friends. Like, it was just friends. It was nothing else. And so when Netta was born, like, Netta's dad didn't even come to the hospital. Like, Keith came to the hospital. Keith came up there because I had a C-section, so I was in the hospital for 3 days. He came up there every day. You know, he brought me gifts, but we was literally just friends. Because Keith had a girlfriend. Keith actually was engaged to marry somebody else. I'm just telling all your business, ain't I, honey? And to this day, we're still friends. I'm still friends with his one, not the one he was going to marry, but his other one that used to get jealous when he would come over. Why you always going to Release Bailey's house? Why you always with her? She's just my friend. That's just my friend. That's why people be saying, can men be best friends with women? I be like, nope. Because I was my husband's best friend. So the answer is no to me. Because we was best friends and now we ain't. I mean, we are, but we married. But,
who got beat up?
see how Maylee is? Now, she wanna go. Maylee, I ain't even gonna tell that story tonight because of Kenny in here. Like, people like to tell that. Nope. If they miss that story, y'all gonna miss that one. I'm talking about him. I ain't talking about me. But anyway, I'm still friends with her. Yes. Okay. I'm still friends with her on Facebook, and every time I post up there a picture of me and Keith, she was like, I always knew y'all was going to be together. And that was his girlfriend. I'd be feeling so bad. Like, I'm sorry, boo. Okay, you can go ahead and play it. I'm so sorry, honey. But this song, we used to sing this song in GYPT, and what I love about it is, like, it's just saying, y'all remember this song? It's just saying, you don't know my story. You don't know, even a little bit I'm telling you, that ain't even half of it. Let's listen to the words. I love it.
My lowest.
Has been faithful to me. He promised he would never leave me. My story proves that God can use me. Deliverance is my testimony. You don't know
My story.
it would blow your mind.
They don't know.
My story.
Say it, LaJune.
You don't know my story. The anguish and the guilt that consumed me. Grateful I can tell it. For no more shall the shackles condemn me. You don't know my story. For if you dip your would lift up your hands. So just let me tell you. You may as well lay out and say all that has been faithful to me.
Even though I'm not perfect,
Promise he would never leave me. My story proves that God can use.
and my deliverance.
Deliverance is my testimony. You don't know my story. I won't play it all.
Can I get a witness? It is through my testimony.
Through my testimony and the blood of the Lamb, delivered I am. Now I have a Here's my story. Life of favor upon me. He brought me out.
You think you know, but let me tell you. God, thank you for your mercy.
God of mercy, he who loves me. Oh, how wondrous is can't imagine.
Some people, they walked out on me. They came up on me, said I wouldn't make it, but God proved me out. If you only knew, you understand my praise like this. Come on, can we take it?
I'm delivered.
I'm delivered.
Here's my story. Life and favor upon me. He brought me out. God of mercy.
Here's my story.
Can't imagine. Y'all can turn it down. So that is my song. Because it's saying I'm delivered. And that doesn't mean it doesn't still hurt. That doesn't mean I still don't remember, but I'm delivered. I can live life to the fullest every day. I still have my down days. I still have my bad moments, but I'm delivered from that. I'm not, that happened when I was so young, and so my childhood was spent like that. And it wasn't all bad, because even though, I don't know, it's kind of a weird thing, but I do want to do one thing. Can y'all kids come up here for me? Sit up here. Please, if you want to. You don't have to. You do not have to. But if I could even just have a few kids. Brenda. Yeah. Because the scripture I read said that kids are a reward. And kids are a gift. And I want y'all to look at y'all gifts. Like these are, these are blessings. And even the ones that didn't come up, that's okay. But I want you to look at your gifts and understand that these gifts will get on your nerves. These gifts will do teenage things. These gifts will do all kinds of stuff. But God blessed us with these gifts. And I couldn't bring my grands. I wanted to bring them, but I couldn't tonight. But I just want you guys all to know, like, all of you, like, you're special. You're beautiful, okay? You're going to make mistakes. You're going to do things wrong. But there's the scripture that I have a scripture for y'all too, which she's going to read for me. It is, okay, wait, let me find it. Colossians 3:20, I think it is. Because even as kids, you have responsibility too, not as much as the parents, though. But I think that sometimes we just get caught up in the daily. And me too. I'm a mom. I'm a grandma. So I understand that sometimes we just get caught up, and you can read when you find it. Yeah.
Children, obey your parents in all things, for this is well-pleasing unto the Lord. Fathers, provoke not your children to anger, lest they be discouraged.
So, children, obey, okay? And it's not always the easiest thing to do. We didn't do it, but God says do it so that your life can be lengthened, and you're going to one day grow up and have kids, and you're going to want your kids to obey you, okay? And it does say fathers don't provoke your kids to anger, but mothers too, you know. And I looked up some things that we do that provoke our kids to anger. And the first one that came up was favoritism. And that is my testimony. But favoritism, but then it also said being harsh, abusive, including mental, verbal, and sexual abuse, being unfair, and sarcasm. Like sometimes we can be sarcastic with our kids, you know, putting them down, downhill slants. That provokes kids to anger. So we have to just work on that. And Psalm 27 and 127 and 3, I'm sorry.
$127 and 3?
Mm-hmm. I think that I wrote it down.
Lo, children are an heritage of the Lord, and the fruit of the womb is his reward.
And so when I read that, you know, I'm going to look up heritage because I got to make sure I ain't up here just saying the wrong stuff. But these are our gifts. These are our rewards. You know, these came through your womb. And so I hope that all of my kids up here feel that with their mom, with their dad. And if you don't, we're going to get you there, okay? We're going to get you there because, you know, they got a responsibility. And so, you know, none of these people up here decided to be here. Like they didn't just, you know, they didn't just walk out. They didn't just grow up. They came here from a male and a female. And so we don't have a right to mistreat them. We don't have a right. They did nothing to be here. They didn't ask to be here. I seen a boy who actually sued his parents because he was like, I didn't ask for this. And he sued his parents, took them to court. I don't know if he won, but he sued them. And I was like, you know what? I get that because I didn't ask for this life. I didn't ask to come here and be mistreated and dogged and abused. I didn't ask for that. And it's so many kids in this world living like this. And it's a lot of kids, like, sometimes we feel like we got it bad, right? It hurts. Stuff hurts. And we feel like we got it so bad. But let me tell you something. There's some kids out there that's way worse. They got it way worse than y'all. And so, and I'm not saying it to minimize anything with you guys because your hurt that's you. That's your real hurt. But I always also want you to think about the kids who live in shelters, the kids who sleep on benches with their parents, the kids who have been beaten, who are in foster care just for money. The lady who had 9 foster kids and would just make them sleep on the floor naked. When the food was there, well, you ain't eating. Well, I guess you won't get no water for 3 days. Stuff like that. So I understand that. Be grateful. Be grateful, okay? But the parents, you have a huge responsibility. No kid up here should feel unloved. No kid up here should feel unwanted. Like every kid up here should feel like somebody cares about them. They should want to hear, how was your day? How was school? Sierra, your girls can come down here if they want to. Oh, okay. Come up here, girls. You can bring your coloring books or whatever you're doing. But every kid, like, listen, I just have these certain passions. And my passion is marriage. Like, listen, I could talk all day about marriage, but that's not what I'm up here for. Kids and blended families. I've seen kids destroyed in blended families. I've seen it so many times. And it's hurtful because it's a hard thing to blend. It's real hard. And I can speak from that because my daughter was not Keats. And I honestly tell people all the time, when they was friends, he could easily be her friend. But when it was dad, it was like, I don't know if I want to do that. And I can even remember, I mean, he was young. I got pregnant. Not by him. Keith didn't have no kids. And so I was like, you want me, right? Well, this is my baby. And Keith was like, I was like, honey. No, not honey. He wasn't honey then. He was just Keith. Like, hey, he was like, you want to go downtown to Central Park, Mom? I'm like, yeah. Can Netta come? He was like, Mama, this ain't no family affair. He said it. And I was like, what? You can take me back home then, you know. But it was hard for him to transition from friend to dad. But eventually he did it. And it wasn't easy. It's never, ever, ever easy. Why? Because that's my child. And she was my baby. Oh, and I spoiled her. She slept with me. She was my baby. I was 16 years old. And so for Keith, it ain't the same. Love is not the same initially. And that's what people have to understand in a blended family. I don't love your child like I love mine. That takes time. But you just have to at least like my child. You cannot dislike them. You can't hate them. They may get on your nerves because you're not used to that, but these are kids. They should never see that. They should never feel it. And so I could see the irritation with Keith. I could see it and I'm trying to work through it because I'm like, this is my boo right here. But I could see this, and Netta was still young, but I never wanted her to feel that because her and Keith were friends. So all she knew is, this is my friend. I never wanted her to feel like, man, he doesn't even like me or he's irritated by me. I never wanted her to feel that. So before she got old enough, I was like, let's talk through this. And then this will help you make a decision if this is what you want, because I don't ever want her to feel that. I just never wanted her to feel it. I didn't ever want her to feel that hurt, that pain. Like, does he like it? I never wanted that. And we had that conversation. And then the next day, I probably told this story before too, but it's still funny. The next day he was gone, and I was like, he really left. I was just playing, but no, he left. And I was like, Netta, is Keith's car outside? She was like, no, Mom, his car is gone. Like, she didn't have a care. I was like, but I was so depressed. I stayed in the room. I'm like, dang, like he left, he's gone. And it took me forever to come out. And then when I finally went out there, he had left this long note. And he was just saying, I'm sorry, it's a package deal. I know it. And I never meant that. I don't want you to think that, like, I'm in it. I'm in it. But that made him, if you don't ever say it, moms and dads, if you don't ever make that an issue, it'll never be an issue. Everybody will just be walking around irritated. You got to put it out there. If this ain't going to work, this just ain't going to work. And I was willing to let this man who I love to death walk away, because that's my baby. She ain't going to disappear. She ain't going nowhere. That's my baby. And she was probably she hadn't even went to kindergarten yet. And I was just like, yeah, I can't. And he was like, you know what? That's my daughter. And to this day, people really think that that's her dad. They have no idea that he's not her biological dad. But he figured it out. Like, he did it. And it wasn't easy even after that. It was not easy even after that. Huh? Oh, I said something. But it was still hard. But he did it. And now, she'd be like today, like, Mom, leave my dad alone. Why you always messing with my dad? Like, you can't tell him nothing now. But you got to make it a thing. And you, as step parents, and you have to, you have to be honest. You have to ask the hard questions. You have to, because, listen, it's a different kind of love. And I'll say, you at least be friends. At least be friends. You ain't got to love my child. It's unrealistic to think that somebody's going to love your child just because you do. Because that's your baby you carried, you birthed. You love that baby, but this baby getting on my nerves. This baby is on my last nerve, but I'm trying to fight through this. But you have to fight through it. If your marriage is worth it, your partner will understand. We can talk. And if they can't do it, then it's like we got to make some decisions. Because I don't like kids to feel that hurt. I don't want my child to feel that hurt. And she don't even know this story I'm telling y'all. Because I never shared that with her. I just never wanted her to know. So that's one thing. But I'll say my testimony is more, we'll talk about favorites. I just wasn't my mom's favorite. Not by anything I did. I was just born. I'm sure it was something my dad did, but that wasn't my fault. But it was just different. It was, so imagine this. And this is the one where I said, to be birthed, to come through your mom's womb and never feel the love of a mom. That's crazy. Like the very wound I came through, I watch mothers. Maylee, I get so jealous. Lisa Omar, I told her that. I get so jealous because in my mind, for me, I have to imagine, what is it like to be loved by a mother? And I daydream and I play it in my head. I hear people say, that's like my sister, my best friend. I read a post, my best friend died. I don't know what I'm going to do without my mother. I don't have that story. I have no idea what it feels like to ever be loved by a mother, except for the mothers in here who embraced that and showed me that. But your own mother's womb that you came through, I have no idea what it feels like. So I asked Lisa, how does it feel? Like, man, that has to be the greatest feeling, to just be loved by a mother. Like, I don't know what that feels like. I've never had it. I've never felt it. And it's hard to say. It's sad to say, but it's true. It's just the truth. But it is what it is. I mean, I listen. I have mothers. I'm gonna go find somebody. Gonna be my mama. Somebody gonna be my mama. Somebody gonna help me. And I found them in here, like Maylee with Mama V. Sis Mo, Sister Barlow. Like, they tried to help me. But it ain't. It's not the wound I came through. So it's just different. So that's one thing. But my dad was different. And it's not to say that, is it any better that your dad loves you if your mom didn't? It still hurts. It still hurts. But my daddy, man, listen. My dad, show and tell. I used to take my daddy to school for show and tell, y'all. I used to take him for show and tell, and he knew when it was show and tell day. I'm like, Daddy, you ain't got to be at work this early. You just trying to get out the house before I ask you to come to show and tell. But he would come for show and tell because all my friends loved my dad. I mean, I have friends who used to stand out on the bus stop just to wave at him. It's just like them young girls and them old, they was in love with my daddy. My daddy was fine though. I can't. And he told me, he said, when you was little, you used to just sit on my lap and say, Daddy, you're so pretty. My daddy was so pretty, y'all. He was. Betty took care of Daddy. Lisa Omar took care of Daddy. Sister Barlow got spoiled by Daddy, taking people's seats on the bus. But my dad didn't, Daddy didn't really show favoritism towards anybody. My brothers and sisters will say that I was his favorite, but he just didn't show favoritism. He was just a great dad. He loved me. Like people used to tell me, I'm like, I don't know, Daddy, I don't know why he just thought I was like a supermodel or something. He used to just be like, y'all know Lisa. You know my daughter Lisa. And did he? Yeah, he always, they were like, girl, your daddy loved you. My daddy loved me so much. But it doesn't replace the fact that my mom didn't. It still hurts, but I did get love from one of my parents. But it doesn't replace it. So parents, you don't want to be that either. You just don't want to be that. But I still have voicemails in my phone from Daddy. And I didn't find them until after he died. And I'm going to see if it'll let me play one. It may not, because I don't have internet. But he was the best dad ever. I mean, even up until he died, like he would come when he could. Even after he fell and got sick, he would drive down MUD. I'm like, Daddy, you cannot keep driving down here. You fell, you hit your head, don't get lost, please. But he was just walking MUD like he worked there. He was just coming there like, hey, where's all my girls at? How y'all doing? And walk around the whole office, and they would just all be so happy to see Daddy. They would just all walk around there. And that was after he fell and completely recovered. This is some of his voice.
I just want to speak to my little cutie pie daughter. Talk to you later.
Those are the voicemails. That's one voicemail that I found after he was gone. Let me see if I can play this one. It may not let me. Please. Well, I'll try it later. But that was just one of my favorite ones. Like, even, I mean, I'm in my 50s when Daddy died, okay? And he still be like, I just want to speak to my little cutie pie daughter. I just want to speak to my baby. It's one that says, I want to speak to Keith and my secretary, you know, call me, you know. Or, you know, he used to leave me so many voicemails, but he was just coming downtown. And downtown, remember MUD downtown, you had to sit and help customers. And I got customers in the lobby. Daddy just walk in, just sit down in my chair. I'm like, Daddy, can't sit there. I got a customer that's about to come back here. He would just sit there and talk like he was a customer. I'm like, oh my goodness. So yes, it definitely helped a lot. And I think that helped give me balance by having a dad that just loved me. Like it got, even when me and Keith first started dating, I'd be like, oh shoot, there's a bird in the house. I gotta call Daddy. Oh shoot, there's something. I gotta call Daddy. And Keith was like, honey, you cannot keep calling your daddy when I'm here. How you think that makes me look? Like, he just was like, no, you can't do that. But I was just so used to calling Daddy for everything. But my mom, she played favorites, which was the first one that came up, favoritism. And no matter what I did, it was never good enough. No matter what, like, I mean, and I told a little of this the other night, but my sister, my mom would tell me, like, I never saw a baby picture of myself till my mom died. Never. And I kept saying, you don't have no baby pictures of me? And she would always tell me about my sister. Oh, my goodness, when I take your sister out in the stroller, they come and stop. And, oh, my gosh, she's so beautiful. And I'm like, wow, that's interesting. But you ain't got no baby pictures of me. I got baby pictures of you. I got them. Never saw one until she died. And Jeff brought them to me. He was like, I found this photo album of your mom's. And the first picture I found was so happy because I wanted to see how I looked. Like, let me see. Was I a monster? Like, what is wrong? Let me see. And when I looked at the picture, I was like, wow, this is me as a baby. I'm 50 years old. Like, wow. But when I turned it over, it was just devastating. And I can remember calling Keith, and I'm like, I found a picture, and on the back of it, Sissy wrote, my name used to be Valisa, okay, but it's Lisa now. But it was Valisa. She didn't put it on my birth certificate. I found out when I was selling insurance, they was like, you don't exist as Valisa. So I changed my name to Lisa, but it really was Valisa at one time. I went all the way through high school and college, Valisa. But anyway, that's a different story. But on the back, she wrote, this is Valisa. She don't look too bad. Maybe her looks will improve with age. That's what was on the back of my picture. And so that helped me to confirm everything that I felt all those years. I knew that. But I couldn't, like, I felt it, but she would always deny it. No, you know. But that crushed me. And I called Keith, and Keith was trying his hardest, boy, because I was in tears. She didn't mean it, honey. I know she wrote, like, he was trying everything he could. I'm like, no, she meant that. She meant that. She wrote it in ink. And I think that's probably why she never wanted me to see the pictures. I don't know. I just don't understand that. But my sister was her everything, you know, and Tony. Tony was a brat. The only difference between my sister and Tony is Tony, he hated the way she treated me. And he would tell her, I don't like the way you treat Lisa. And even as I got older, I don't like the way you treat her kids. Even though he was the favorite. But he just didn't like it. It was just so blatant. I can remember when Netta was a baby, and not that it's anybody's responsibility. If we get pregnant, like, you know what, our parents could be like, you know what, you got pregnant, you on your own. They can do that. I was living at home still with my mom, and I was pregnant. And I got $280 a month for welfare to take care of my daughter. And every month my mom took $200. She never bought my daughter nothing. She never bought her a bottle of milk, a onesie, nothing. But she took $200. And I'm like, how do I take care of this baby on $80 a month? She didn't care. She did not care. She didn't care nothing about my daughter. Thank goodness, even though her biological dad wasn't no good, his mom, she always made sure whatever she had to do, Netta was going to be taken care of. But it's that kind of me. But my sister, she didn't take a dime from her. And she got the same amount I got. And if she would ask my sister, I give you my money. And that was the end of it. So one day I was like, well, shoot, you ain't taking her money. I'm finna go shopping. And I went and bought Netta all this stuff. And when I came back, my mom said, take it right back. Take it right back. And I was just like, she didn't care. She just did not care. And it's just mean stuff like that. We didn't have central air in the house. And I got a baby. And it was hot in the house. And Tony was hot. And my mom came in that room, took that fan off my daughter, gave it to Tony. That's the kind of evil stuff that parents do. That's how they show favoritism over the other ones, you know. And I was like, that was the last straw, though, for me. I think I was probably a junior or senior, I can't remember. And I called Daddy. I said, Daddy, I'm going to put all my stuff on the back porch. Whatever's back there, take it to your house. I'm catching a bus to your house. And I left because I just was just so tired of being treated. And I wasn't like a horrible, I wasn't like a horrible child. She just didn't like me. And I just think that it was my dad. I'm sure it was. I mean, I'm sure my dad wasn't probably the most faithful. I'm sure he probably did a lot of things that hurt her, but it just didn't have anything to do with me. When I don't have one picture with me and my mom. Not one. There's not one picture of my mom holding me. And that's why people always like, why are you always taking pictures? I'm a picture fanatic. Because I understand that one day, all you're going to have left is pictures. And I tell Keith all the time, honey, if I die, y'all got pictures from every year. Y'all got plenty of pictures. You make me a big old gigantic obituary. But that's why I do that. Because I have probably 5 baby pictures of me. And none of them are with my mom. With my dad, I was always in my dad's lap. But not my mom. Let me see. Oh, this is another thing. My mom got sick. And by now she has custody of my sister, which is her favorite daughter. So she had my sister's daughter, which is her granddaughter. And as my mom was getting sick, now my sister is gone. She had a mental breakdown, so she's not even around. So as she's getting sick, she's forgetting. And that's what I was telling them, like my book, I'm going to write a book called She Forgot She Didn't Love Me, because she forgot. She forgot. When she got sick, then I became her favorite person. She memorized my number. She would call me all the time. And so imagine being the child who had to compete with the favorite daughter. Now the favorite daughter is gone mentally. The favorite son lives in California. And, Davy and Terrence, I think Terrence lives in Atlanta. I don't even know where Terrence is at. But it comes down to me and Jeff. So I had to help my mother take care of my niece, my sister's daughter, my mom's favorite daughter's daughter. I had to help her. Can you come give Ariana a bath? Can you do her hair? And I did it. Up until we finally was like, Willis, you got to come get your baby. She can't take care of your daughter anymore. You got to come get your daughter. And my mom got worse and worse and worse. And it's still me and Jeff and Keith taking care of my mom. So, and there was still mean streaks. But by the time she forgot, she was like, oh, take this. You can have this. Do you want this purse? You want this? One time she gave me her whole checkbook. And I was like, Jeff, it's time to take the checkbook. She gave me the whole checkbook. But she forgot because she started losing her memory. Then she loved me to death. And so I'm like, I just had to take that. I felt that love, but that wasn't my mom. You know, so I can't even say, like, I was thinking about this earlier. An apology goes so far, parents, kids too. If my mom, she could have apologized to me at 50. She could have apologized to me at, 30. And I probably wouldn't even be standing up here having this conversation. Because it would have just, if it was a sincere apology, it probably would have made me like, you know what? I get it. You know, my dad probably wouldn't have been, it would have helped. I wouldn't probably be as hurt. But to never even get an apology, to never even say I'm sorry, to never even acknowledge it, that's the part that still kills me today. Because my grandmother told me, she said, your mom just never took to you. And I'm like, why? She said, I don't know. It was just something about you. And I never got, I'm sorry. I never got nothing. I just had to deal with a mother who eventually forgot, and I had to take the scraps of that. Like, if this is what I get, I just got to take this. You know, and it sounds just so bad, you know, coming out like that. And, you know, so you guys who really have mothers that love you, like, seriously, kids, adults, you got a mother that loves you, man, don't take that for granted. Because there's a whole lot of people in this world, that don't. And don't ever be that mother. Don't ever be that father. Because it's a hard, I'm 61. Why? Why does it still hurt? Why am I still talking about this? Why? Because it's just, I grew up, I just dealt with it, and that's what you have to do. And Bishop said that. When you know you're not the favorite, everybody don't know your story, you know, and so you don't have to wear it, right? You don't have to wear it. You don't have to, like, look sad, you know, because I don't do this for pity. Like, I don't do this for pity. I do this because I'm grown, right? I'm 61. But I don't want any kid, teenager, anybody to walk around feeling like that. Like, don't wait years and years and years. Deal with it. Accept it. Accept it. Accept it. Like, you know what? I ain't the only child. You ain't got to be the favorite child to be great. You ain't got to be the favorite child to be awesome. You know, you don't have to be. It should be no such thing as a favorite child. Should be no such thing as a favorite. There's a child that minds better. There's a child that does chores without asking. You know what I mean? I get that. There are kids that do things worthy of a reward. But don't ever make the other kid feel less than. This is why she got it, because she did what she was supposed to do. Don't do, you know, you didn't get it because you didn't. You know, that's your fault, you know. But to just pick a favorite child because, like, growing up, and this is, oh my gosh, like, guys, oh my gosh, everybody used to say, oh girl, you look like your daddy, you look like your daddy. And I was just like, yes, I want to look like my daddy. My daddy was so fine. Oh my gosh, he was so fine, y'all. And so I'll be like, yes, like, I look like my daddy, like, yes, oh, that's cute. And then it changed. And then they start saying, girl, you look like your mama. And I would get so mad when people said that to me. I would get so mad. And as I'm older now, and sometimes Keith will say it now, he'd be like, you look like Sissy today. Like, people say it to me all the time now. But then I hated it. I don't want to look like Sister Barlow. I know this is hard for her to hear because she used to work with my mom. And my mom was sweet. She didn't see this, but I hated it. I hated when people would tell me I look like my mama. I know I got her nose, and I have a picture of me and my mom and my sister, and we all look exactly alike. So I'm like, where was I ugly at? I look like you. I just don't understand that. I'm like, I look like you. Even in my mom's baby picture, I look like I can see me. So where was I ugly? You know, and it's just me. But it's probably not really that I was ugly. It was just that, you know, your dad pissed me off. I just don't like him, so I don't like you. I don't know. You know, but it should never, ever, ever be a favorite child. You can't have a favorite child. All of our kids are different. Like we had them. We did what we had to do to make them. You know, you wasn't saying that when you was doing all that. You know, and so now we got these kids and you look like your daddy. You dark. You got big lips. You go over there. You cute. Come stand by me. Can't do that. Them is all your kids. Me and my brothers and sisters, we don't all look alike. People used to be like, Tony don't look like nobody. They did. They was like, whose son is that? Tony didn't look like nobody. Davy and Terrence got daddy's hair. His mom was Indian, so daddy had all this pretty curly hair. Davy and Terrence got daddy's hair. Tony didn't. Tony had buckshot BBs. You know, but he was my mom's favorite. He was my mom's favorite child because Tony could sing. Tony been singing since he was little. And whenever Tony would walk around the house singing, my mom would just be acting like she was at some kind of award show. And so I was like, shoot, I'm about to sing. And she would literally be upstairs, shut up. She didn't want to hear me sing. Pissed me off. But having favorites divides brothers and sisters. It divides brothers. It divides families. Like Tony, Terrence, and David don't even talk. And the reason why is because my mom always favored Tony. So it made them dislike Tony. And they have played in bands and all that stuff together, but they don't really like each other like that because why? He was the favorite. It wasn't his fault, but you're the favorite. I don't like you. He got everything he wanted. He was spoiled. And I can remember even with me and my sister going out shopping was the worst. Because my mom didn't care about humiliating me. If I pick up something, you can't fit that. You know you can't fit that. Give that to Vanessa. You know, and I'm just like, humiliate. I don't even want to shop no more. You know, just anything to just be just mean. And so it shaped my mind. And I'm like, I will never be this kind of mom. I will never treat my kids like this. I will never treat my because that trickled down to my kids. So it trickled down to the grandkids. So my kids had to watch their cousin be spoiled. Buy them a car. You know what I'm saying? Like everything. My kids get nothing. And it's because, and it was on both sides of the family because Keith's mom, you know, me and Keith's mom didn't have the greatest relationship either. And Netta's coming in as this child that's not hers biologically. And by now, I'm like, this ain't going to happen to my baby. So when Netta comes, and of course Netta has cousins, they all get the same stuff. Cute dresses, you know, because this is your biological grandmother, but this is not. But my baby got candy. And so I said, you know what? I understand this ain't her granddaughter. You know, me and Keith was newly dating. They said me and Keith was going to be together 6 months, y'all. They thought we was going to be together 6 months. So, you know, you can waste some money on that. They ain't going to last 37 almost years later. I'm telling you. It's crazy. But the first Christmas, I let it slide because I was like, you know, she probably just want to make sure I'm going to stick around till next Christmas. Next Christmas came, she did the same thing. And I was like, honey, I'm not doing that. I'm not going to let my daughter sit here and get a stocking full of candy and her cousins have dresses and outfits and matching. I was like, we're not doing that. So I told Keith, and Keith told his mom, and the rest was history. You're not going to treat my baby like that because we don't even have to be here. And so I'm just one. I don't like people to mistreat kids. I don't like unfairness because I've seen enough of that. And I just don't. Kids don't deserve it. Nobody deserves it. Adults don't deserve it. But a kid that can't even defend themselves and just to be mistreated for no reason except for they're not your favorite or they're not your kid. You just can't do that. And that's why when Bishop asked me to do this, I was like, I will. I definitely will. And I was a nervous wreck all morning because in my mind, I'm like, I just don't want to ramble. I really want to, like, help somebody. I really want somebody to take something out of it. Like, don't, like, try to change. Try to be different. You know, understand that nobody expects you to, and I'll go back to blended families. You can't expect me to take one of these kids because I, dating their daddy and I'm going to love them. Don't work like that. It is unrealistic to expect people to love your kids because you do. And you can't get mad that they don't. Why you don't love my kid? I don't even know your kid. But I'm going to get to know your kid. We can be friends. But you will not mistreat my child. But we can't get mad because people don't love our kid like we do from day one. Unrealistic. It's very unrealistic. I lived it. I know it's unrealistic. But if you blend the family right, listen, people won't even know they won't even know the difference. If you blend that family right, people will not, but it takes work. It's not easy. It is not easy. And I talk about blended families all the time. Me and Mike and Lucretia, all the time. Because I'm a product of that, and I saw it. I saw it in my husband. I understood. I respected him not having no kids. So I can't get mad at you because my daughter's getting on your nerve. This is my brat. But you at least have to like her. You ain't got to love her, but you got to at least be able to be her friend. Because she don't deserve it. And I was not going to ever. Listen, that's my baby, okay? And I was willing to walk away before I let him hurt my daughter. And she was only 3. I don't want her to feel that kind of pain. Even my grandkids, sometimes I probably am over, like, hey, Mom, be careful. You probably shouldn't have said that. You know what I'm saying? Because kids have feelings, guys. They got real feelings just like us. You know, they get sad, down, depressed, just like we do. And we can't disregard their feelings just because they're kids. We can't do that. Let me see. Oh, but that is the biggest thing that I wanted to talk about is accepting it, dealing with it. And don't walk around being sad. Don't walk around being beat down. Don't walk around that. Whatever issues, whatever problems are, you don't have to carry that. Like, nobody should know. And that's just me. And I always just say that. I don't know. Like, God just gave me a different personality, probably because he knew, right? He knew in advance, like, your mama going to treat you different. You're going to get pregnant. You're going to do a bunch of dumb stuff. But he just gave me this different personality to where I can still function in joy. And I think Kirk Franklin said it. He was like, I don't want you happy, I want you joy, because I want you to have joy, because can't nobody take your joy. And I was like, I like that. But you have to, even if it's you, even if you're that person, even if you are, I'm 61, and I know I ain't the only older person in here that still deals with this. But even if you feel that, you got to just accept it. You got to say, you know what? I ain't the favorite. It ain't going to stop me from doing what I want to do. It ain't going to stop me from going to college, graduating, getting married, having kids. It's not going to stop me. I don't have to be the favorite to be amazing, to be awesome. I can still be everything I want to be. I can be a doctor. I can be a lawyer. I can be everything. But if you let that, you have to accept it. And that's the first thing. You got to just accept it like that. I just ain't it. And I'm just saying, I'm not saying it to anybody in particular, but this is just what I'm talking about. If you're not, just accept it. And say, okay, it hurts. And then you deal with it. You deal with it. Like, you know what? I already know. I ain't even going to get mad. I see what you're doing. Okay. I ain't even going to get mad. Wouldn't hurt to call them out, though. Wouldn't hurt for a parent to say, you know what? I owe you an apology. Because I've been doing this wrong. I didn't know. For whatever reason, they owe you an apology. And we don't like to apologize as parents because we think just because you guys are kids that y'all don't know nothing. And sometimes we owe our kids an apology. We do. And I'll talk about an issue that Keith and Jasmine had. And Jasmine was so hurt, and she was just talking to me about this, and I'm like, but honey, honey was just worried about you. And she was like, yeah, but, she didn't like the way that their interaction was going. And so she called me, and she was literally saying, you're taking honey's side, And I'm like in the middle, right? Because then Keith felt like, well, she's a child. But I'm like, but they're in both sides, right? Just because you're grown don't mean you handled it right. Like, you had to deal with that, but it's the way it was handled. And Jasmine was just like, it breaks my heart to hear it. She was like, you've always been my rock, Grandmommy, and now you're choosing sides. And I'm like, I'm not choosing sides, honey. I'm not choosing sides, and I'm in the middle trying to tell them both, like, you handled that wrong. You handled it different, honey. You probably shouldn't have said that. It was too harsh for her because she was in it. It just was a situation that got blown out of proportion. And it just broke my heart on both. It hurt, but that girl loved her honey. She loved her honey. She got it together. I'm like, you got to understand, sometimes as adults, we can get mad too, and we can say something, and it just had to do with a trip. Jasmine was going out of town, and she didn't have her itinerary. And honey was a little upset. Where's your itinerary? And Jazz is like, my mom has it, because they sent it to mom. And I was just telling them, like, you was upset with her for not having it, but it never went to her. It went to her mom. And it just got out of hand and ugly, and Jazz started getting ugly. And I'm like, honey, chill. You got to get that mouth, But that's the one thing she said. She was like, you've always been my rock. That's my first grandbaby, y'all. That's my baby. But I'm like, I'm not trying to not be your rock, boo. But you got a little funky. And honey ain't going to let nobody get funky. So he just ain't going to let you do that. But as parents sometimes, and he did. Like, once they got together and talking, he apologized. I didn't mean it to come out like that. He apologized. Sometimes we got to do that. We don't have to just be like that just because I'm the mama. I said, shut up. Why? Because I said so. Sometimes that's cool. Sometimes it's not. It depends on the conversation. As a parent, you can say, I'm sorry. As a child, you can say, I'm sorry. As a friend, you can say, I'm sorry. If you hurt somebody, you offend somebody, I'm sorry. I was wrong. Don't ever have too much pride to say I'm sorry. Because when you get married, you're going to be saying I'm sorry a lot. Okay? A whole lot of time. You clapping kind of hard over there. But it's just the truth. Like, don't ever think that you can't apologize. An apology goes a long way. And I will say it again. My mom could have apologized at 52. If she would have just said, I don't know why. I was wrong. I shouldn't have treated you that way. That would have just wiped out 40 years of pain. And it's hard, and I said at 61 now, and I know that as adults, we have adults in here who've experienced it. Y'all raise your hands. Don't let these kids out here thinking that it's just them. Being that child, being hurt by our parents, like it's a real thing. And you guys are young enough now, and say it. Y'all got my permission right now. If you feel that way about your parents, to say, can I talk to you for a minute? Not funky, not rude, not disrespectful. I just feel like you love her more. Because it may not even be that. Like I said, it could just really be that they got a reward for doing something that they were supposed to do and you didn't. But if you feel that, by all means say it. Not funky and rude. But I said it to my mom. I even told my mom, I'm like, Grandma told me that you treat me different. And my mom, you know what she said? You're just a liar. You're a liar. She didn't say that. And she did. My grandmother told me. She's like, since you were born, she's always treated you different. And she wanted me to hate my dad so bad that she told me, you almost died because your dad wouldn't go buy you no milk. She wanted me to know that. And I'm just like, wow, you just really want me to hate my final daddy, and that is not going to happen. Because I don't remember that. I was a baby. But Daddy didn't do that. My daddy was the type that would, listen, he used to work at Western Electric, way out in a tornado. The worst tornado that we had yes, he drove from Western Electric to 42nd and Grand because he knew we was home by ourselves. I'm like, he could have got killed, but that's how he was. He worked till midnight, and every Friday he would bring us home Winchell's Donuts. He didn't have a lot of money, but he gonna make sure we do so. Y'all want to go for a ride? He would pile us up in the Volkswagen, take us for a ride. We're going to go down and watch the airplanes. He made things. He created fun for his kids. Like he just did. He created, he wanted us to know that he loved us. He was just an amazing dad. Like I don't know. Like sometimes I felt like I'm just too grown. Like he dated this one lady one time and she was like, why she call you daddy? He was like, that's my daughter. But she didn't never hear of a grown woman calling her dad daddy. But I still call him daddy to this day. He ain't even here. I'm like, daddy, you was just tripping, you know. But I think, does anybody have any questions? Let's talk. No? Nobody got questions? Comments? No? Y'all can say something. I know y'all, when church get out, y'all going to have a whole lot to say. I know y'all got something to say. I'm always saying apology. If an apology is needed. Don't be prideful. But it's okay for you to sit down with your child and ask them, how was your day? How was your day? You know, what'd you learn today? What'd you do in school? What you know, how are you? Like, just have a conversation like this. Just all sit down at dinner and eat. You know, conversation means everything to a child because we don't even care. You know, I flunked my test. Why'd you flunk your test? Didn't study. You know, it's always a negative. You know, I didn't understand it, Mom. So Mom or Dad, maybe you need to sit down and say, well, let me see your test. You know, there's just all kinds of things that you can do to build. Like, listen, y'all, I got 7 grandkids. And I talk to the majority of them, except for the 2 who can't talk, probably almost every day. They're going to call me on FaceTime. They don't care what I'm doing. They want me to be on FaceTime with them all the time. Keith, too. Just whenever they want to get on FaceTime, I'm like, Yaya's calling, honey. You know, but if you call Yaya when she won't, she'll just decline the call. I was playing a game. You know, so I'm saying when it comes to my kid, and I was like that even with my kids, right? Like, I can remember Keith's sisters used to tell me all the time, your boy's going to be soft. Your boy's going to be soft. Because I was always like, nope. And Ronell was the worst. Come in the house before it gets dark. And Ronell, he want to be outside all cool, like with his friends, like, shoot, I ain't finna go in yet, shoot. And he know I'm coming. And Ray and Ryan know, too. They like, Mom finna start that screaming. I come outside, Ron, Dad. Like, he does it to this day. He can't stand it. But they tell me all the time that he used to be like, man, Mom, get on my nerves doing that, man. And, you know, boy, get your butt in this house and go to bed. And he be the first one in the bed. He's still like that to this day. He goes to bed at 9 o'clock. Vernon says he got to get his beauty sleep. He's just out there fronting for his kids. That's, I mean, I just think, you know, being involved, like for instance, my grandson Giovanni, he wanted to play basketball, but he had one F. And he said, Mom, I want to play basketball. Can you call my teacher? And she didn't call the teacher right away. So he got on his iPad himself and said, hey, I want to play basketball. What I got to do? And brought that grade up to a B, and he playing right now. You know, you like, hey, you know what I mean? Like, you got to be there to support. You have to be there to support your kids. You have to be there to support. You have to care about how they're doing in school. You have to care. You have to show up at their games. You have to go to parent-teacher conference. You have to go to parent-teacher conference. You have to go to parent-teacher conference. You know, and a lot of, you know, it's so hard for us because we got grandkids that live in Bellevue, and then we got grandkids that live in South Omaha. So it's hard for us to, like, okay, Pooh got a concert on the 13th. You know, Jasmine got a concert on the 20th. You know, like, so we just everywhere all the time. But we have to show up. And I mean, one time I'm on my way to Jasmine's concert. Why are you guys not here yet? She's tracking me. But you're going to miss it. I'm going up. Jasmine, I'm about to be there. And she's 18. And she still expects us to be there at 18. So imagine if they 8. You ever seen a little kid walk out for a Christmas program and mom ain't there, and they looking in the crowd and mom ain't there, dad ain't there? Man, I'm telling you, like we do. I mean, and sometimes it's unavoidable because because you work, but don't just not do it because you don't care. And if you can't, like, hey, you know what? I gotta work. I ain't gonna be able to. But at least if you can show up. So I hope that answers your question somewhat, Michelle. Okay. Is you gonna ask me something, Lucretia? Well, oh. My lipstick. Mm-hmm.
But I'm willing to stand up because there's a need.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. You know, I told Keith today, he's like, honey, he was like, just let God use you. You know, and I told him, I'm like, he was like, are you scared? You know, I'm like, no, I just want to help somebody, anybody, child, adult. I just want somebody to take something away from it because it's such a heavy burden. It's you know, if it's never been you, it's hard to even imagine, you know, how it feels to be treated different by the people who brought you into this world. It's like an out of body experience. It's like, how can you not love me? I'm so freaking lovable. Like, how can you not love me? like what? Like, I don't. And so, you know, but I have to just, like, it is what it is. I just have to accept it. And when Bishop said that Sunday or that last Sunday, I was like, this dude is literally telling my whole testimony. Like, he was just reading my life, and he wasn't even talking to me. But everything he was saying was just so on point. But you have to accept it. You don't cry about it. You can't cry about it. You know, some parents ain't going to change. So let's just establish that too. Some parents ain't going to never change. Parents, you know, adults get stuck in their ways. Some of them just ain't going to change. You just do what you're supposed to do. Honor your parents. That's just what we got to do. Because we ain't going to be in their house for long. We ain't going to be there all the time. Some parents just won't change. But you just have to accept it. Like, this is how my mom feels about me. Cool. I'm going to do whatever I got to do. Like me, I used to buy my mom gifts, and my dad told me, you can't buy nobody's love, baby. You know how hurtful that is for your dad to tell you that about your mom? You can't buy her love. I'm like, wow, that hurts. That's what it looks like I'm doing, is trying to buy my mother's love. And I'm just buying gifts. And like I told him before, Mother's Day, her birthday was the 5th, and Mother's Day is like around the 10th or whatever, so I always would buy her gifts. And one Mother's Day, I was like, I ain't buying you nothing. I didn't care. I ain't buying you no more Mother's Day gifts. And so she got mad that I didn't buy it. Ain't that something? Now, she will go buy my sister a Mother's Day gift. She ain't never bought me a Mother's Day gift. But I ain't buying no more. So she called my brother Tony, who probably ain't never bought a Mother's Day gift in his life. Okay? But she called him to complain that I didn't buy her one. I said, ain't that something? But again, I was like, okay, you cared. So I started buying her Mother's Day gifts again. Because I was like, okay, well, at least that bothered you. I always had to take the scraps. Just the fact that I knew that hurt her, I did it. Went right back to buying them. And so it's just like I said, like her being sick on her deathbed, falling in love with me. Gotta take those scraps. That's the only love I'm gonna get. That's all the love I'm going to get is from a mother with dementia, who it ain't even my mother no more, because she ain't even in her right mind. That's all the love I had. Please don't ever be that mother. Please don't ever be that mother. Your kids don't deserve it. And whatever it is, go get some counseling. Go talk to somebody. Go sit down and say, you know what? I got this child I just don't feel like I know I don't treat them right. I know I don't. Go get some help for that. Don't destroy this child's life for the rest of their life because you have an issue. It's not their fault. They did nothing. They did nothing. None of these kids here birth themselves. And so they ain't got to know you getting counseling, but it sure would be nice for them to be like, dang, mom is different. Did dad say that to you? Like, dad is different. It will make them feel good, like, okay, wow, like, I like this. They ain't got to know. My mom needed some help. She needed some help. She needed some mental help. And she didn't ever get it. And I suffered from it. It ain't that she didn't know how to love, because she had favorites. And that's just, that is my take on it. Get you some help. Whoever this is for, I'm just trying to say as much as I can to help anybody, whether it's a mother, whether it's a father, whoever it is, get some help. And if you are me, accept it. I ain't the favorite. I accepted that so long ago, it didn't even matter. I'm like, you know what? I ain't the favorite. And my sister loved it. Yeah, you just jealous because sissy liked me, or you just jealous because she didn't do this for you. Like, she would throw it in my face. And I'm like, but I just had to accept it. It is, it is. Now, there wasn't nothing I could do about it. I can't change it. I can't reach in her heart and do that. I just had to accept it. And then I dealt with it. I dealt with it. It didn't stop me from being nothing I wanted to be. It didn't stop me from being anything. And I still say this. All four of my brothers and sisters, my sister ended up having a mental breakdown. You wouldn't even recognize her if you seen her today. Just lost her mind. Mind just snapped. She was married. She was a police officer. She got a master's degree in accounting, smart as she could be. But her mind snapped. Your mind will snap on you. It will make we won't even recognize the person you are today. Don't ever let nobody put that much stress and pressure on you. Okay, don't ever do it, because that's why you see people outside. Don't laugh at people sleeping on benches. Don't laugh at people out there. Them people used to be normal, just like us, because that's my sister. My sister has a master's degree in accounting. She was a police officer. And now she walking around. And her daughter, she has her daughter. Now my mom helps raise her daughter, but her daughter is almost kind of starting to act like her. You know, but your mind will snap so easy. That's why you can't let that, what you're going through, you can't let that can't guide you. Like you can't, everybody don't have to know. You just walk around, smile, how you doing? Don't wear it, deal with it, walk in it. I ain't the favorite child, but I'm still the bomb. I'm still the bomb. I'm still fine. I ain't the favorite child. And you have to just walk in it and deal with it. And it gets easier. It definitely gets easier. And out of all of my brothers and sisters and my sister were married. And they all divorced, right, today. We was the least likely to succeed. Because I had a baby. She ain't going to do nothing but be a welfare mama. She ain't going to be nothing. She's going to be on food stamps. She's going to be on where. That's how they thought of me. But go ahead and think that. I thought that about myself for a minute. I did. I'm like, no, this cannot be my life. But God gave me Keith as a friend first. God gave me Keith. Me and Keith used to talk on the phone for hours. And he would be telling me everything that my ex-boyfriend was doing. You know he was trying to talk to my girl. Yeah, and don't tell him I told you. And I'm like, what? That don't no good. He was like, listen, he was giving me all the scoop. Yeah, I seen him. He was at that party. Uh-huh. He said he was at home. I was like, don't tell him I told you, so I ain't going to tell you nothing else. That was my friend, y'all. That was my friend. And guess what I did? Keith told me you was at that party with that girl. Ain't that wrong? Y'all know y'all did that. Somebody tell you don't say something, then you go back and say it. I did a couple times. And I ain't telling you nothing else. Keith always had the team, but God gave me Keith as my friend first. We've been friends since 9th grade, y'all. 9th grade. And then we dated. We tried to date off and on. It didn't quite work every time. You know, and I'm like, okay, no, forget you, you know. And he was like, forget you, you know. But we always came back. We always came back together. I can remember one time I made him so mad. I ain't going to tell y'all what I did. He was like, don't call me no more. I was like, oh, I've never seen this ugly side of you. What's going on? Don't call me no more. So you know what I did? I called him. And you know what he did? Didn't I tell you not to call me no more? Click. Look at him. Don't let that innocent face fool y'all. That boy hung up in my face so many times because I kept calling. So finally, about a year went by. I was like, let me call him and see if he going to answer. And I called him. I was like, hi, Keith. He was like, hi. He done forgot. I said, you know who this is? He was like, Sherry. Joyce? Like, I'm like, he calling all kinds of, I'm like, this Negro. Oh my goodness. I was like, wow, honey. But ever since that day, a year and a half later, after he hung up in my face for a whole year or whatever, ever since that day, we've been together. We started dating, and we never broke up. And we went through some stuff, but we never broke up. He was my best. God gave me Keith as a friend in 9th grade first. And then we ended up getting married. So God will heal those places. He will give you somebody that will help you heal those places. And listen, guys, if you ain't nobody else's favorite, you better know that you God's favorite. You better know that you God's favorite. I mean it. You know you God's favorite? You know you God's favorite? You know you God's favorite? Huh? Okay. You know you God's favorite? Caleb? Yes. Cameron? Zechariah? Y'all better know y'all God's favorite, so you ain't got to be trying to please people out here. You ain't got to be people pleasing out here. You better know God loves you and God put you on this earth for a reason. And whatever he put you on this earth to do it. But walk in your greatness. Don't walk around sad, depressed. Don't do that. Don't do that. Walk around like you the stuff. What I say to you on Sunday, you was killing that coat. And what'd you do? She was like, yeah. She sure did. You better know you was killing that coat on Sunday. Yeah, every day you go to school, you walk in there, you don't wear that coat to school. Now don't get it. Don't wear that coat to school. But every day you walk in school, you better walk in there like you got that coat on. Walk in there like you got that coat on, like, yeah. How y'all doing? Good morning. Don't walk sad. Don't have your head down. Walk with your head high. Because y'all are some beautiful, 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 beautiful people. You hear me? You're a good dude. Good dude. I love y'all. I have such a passion for kids, and I know I got to go. It's 8:30. But I love me some kids. I hate to see kids. I hate to see anybody mistreated. And my husband always be telling me, honey, you cannot save the world. I'm like, really? Dang. I hate to see people mistreated. When it comes to marriage, when it comes to kids, I just hate to see people mistreated. But don't carry that. Okay? Be proud of yourself. You about to be a plumber. Be proud of yourself. You know, be proud of yourself. Tinka, all of y'all, walk in it. Walk in y'all greatness. Y'all beautiful. Y'all smart. Y'all intelligent. Y'all ain't coming to church every Sunday for nothing. Every Tuesday and Wednesday, y'all not coming to church for nothing. Get something out of it. What do you want to do? What do you want to be when you grow up? That's what I'm telling my granddaughter. What you want to do? How much money you want to make? You have a choice right now to set your life up for how much money. You want to make $100,000 a year? You want to make $200,000 a year? What you want to do? I talked to a senior the other day. She know exactly. I'm going to ASU. I'm being a neurosurgeon. She know exactly what she wants. But you know why? Because her parents came here illegally. And they told her, this is how hard we had to work. Go for it. And she's going for it. And all y'all need to go for it. All y'all need to go for it. If you make a mistake, get back up. Don't sit here and be 61. Okay? Don't be here. By the time you're 24, you should have something. A college degree, some money in the bank. Don't waste your life. Please don't. Please don't. Smile. Right now. Thank you. Smile. Thank you. Life is precious. Life is precious, and we have no idea how long we have on this earth. So if we ain't finna spend 10, 15 years walking around sad and depressed. Maximize the moment. Maximize it. Okay? Because anything can happen tomorrow. There ain't no guarantee I could be holding this mic today and then tomorrow be about to be buried. It's just life. You don't know what's going to happen. Maximize it. Walk in your greatness. Know that you're the bomb. Know that you're beautiful. Know that you're smart. And whatever happens, accept it. Deal with it. And walk in it. Everybody ain't going to love you. The world out there is worse than what y'all used to. It's worse. Don't get out in that world and act a fool. Don't get out in the world and do all that dumb stuff. Don't be out there getting pregnant, making babies. No, do what you want to do. You can. By the time you're 24, you could be making $100,000 loaning your mama some money, loaning your daddy some money. Come on now, you can do it. If you graduate, go to college. I know a girl. This girl, her grandfather told her, "You need to be an attorney." That was not her dream, but her grandfather said, "You got too good of a mind. You need to be an attorney." That girl went to school. She graduated. She has a bachelor's, a master's, and a law degree. And she's probably 26 or 27 years old. But she never stopped. And I'm looking at her like I knew her when she was this little. And she done bypassed me. That's crazy. Sometimes I get depressed thinking about that stuff like that. I've just been sitting here looking stupid. I could have been a lawyer. I graduated with a doctor I can't even, I'll see her on Facebook. I'll be like, hey, how you doing? She's a doctor. She graduated in 1982 with me, and she's a doctor. We waste time. I wasted so much time being silly. Don't do that. So I'm done. That's my spiel.